Hi, my name is Smriti. I am a part of the Chaos Engineering module at Harness. In this video, you will understand what Pod API Modify Header Chaos fault is, its use cases, how to configure and execute it, how it affects an application, and how you can avoid such failures as well as how you can recover from it. What is Pod API Modify Header? It is a Kubernetes pod level chaos fault that modifies the header of an API request. What are its use cases? Suppose you have an application and users enter some malicious input into it. If your application has certain input validation and header parsing in place, it ensures that the pod API modify header fault cannot attack your application or make it vulnerable to such attacks. Another use case is that when you intentionally alter the headers of the API request, you can test the behavior of the load balancers and the proxies and ensure that all the traffic is routed to the right place even when the headers are modified. It also helps test the resilience of the gateway to unexpected header values. It also helps ensure you have backward compatibility to handle different clients and ensure that the error handling mechanisms are in place. Now let us jump into configuring and executing the pod API modify header chaos experiment. Before executing the experiment, ensure that you have some of the prerequisites fulfilled. For example, one of the prerequisites is to ensure that you have Kubernetes version higher than 1.17, and you have to also ensure that the Kubernetes pods are healthy before and after injecting chaos. So only during the chaos duration is when the pod API modify header will be in action and you'll see the consequences of it. To configure the experiment, navigate to the chaos experiments and click new experiment. Provide a name and select the infrastructure type, the environment and the infrastructure that you have created earlier, and click apply. Click next. Let us configure the tunables now. In the target application modal, select the app kind, which is deployment, and the namespace. Namespace here refers to the namespace where the application is present. Name refers to the name of the application on which the chaos is injected. Move to the tune fault modal and specify the chaos duration and the header map. This is the map that replaces the original value with the modified value. Let us use a command probe in this case. Specify the name of the command probe. Details such as the command, the type of data comparison, the comparison criteria, and the value. Click configure properties. Specify the properties such as timeout, interval, attempt, polling interval, and verbosity, and click save. Click run to execute the experiment. To validate the chaos injection, let us navigate to the external IP along with the status path filter. Currently, chaos is not in action yet, and inspect element and check the network, refresh it, and you can find the status API and the response header. When chaos is in action, you will see that an additional key value pair has popped up. For more information on the tunables and the use cases, refer to the official documentation whose link is provided in the description box below. How can we avoid such failures? You can enforce header validation rules and reject malformed headers. You can set up alerts for unusual patterns in headers that may occur. And you can deploy redundant instances so that if one instance fails, you can use other instances of the API. You can configure API gateways to filter and normalize the headers, even if there's a malformed one. And before an unexpected header reaches the application, you can remove it or drop it, and so on. Thank you.